Kia ora koutou, good morning, welcome to Career TV. I'm Monique Bradley and today I'm here in the studio with career guru and professional expert Caroline Sandford from Love Your Career. Good morning, Caroline.
Good morning, Monique. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm really excited and I really want to welcome everyone that's here today. This is the first of a series. Today is all about an overview, showing you what's important to plan for your future, and then I'm going to be running 3 other sessions to really take you through all the things that we identify today to really help you to future-proof your career.
I love that. Now, having had a rehearsal with Caroline yesterday, you have got to stick around because we've got some incredible content coming up for you to basically give you an idea of where you're at in your life right now with your career, how to future-proof it, as Caroline said, and also stick around because at the end we've got details of a great download that you can receive from today's show. So firstly, good morning to everybody watching on the Love Your Career official page and to YourFixTV. And if you want to find out more about Caroline, head to her website, loveyourcareer.co.nz. Now, we are live this morning as well. We're live.
We are live, yes, here we are.
So feel free to message in during the broadcast if anything resonates with you. If you've got any questions to ask, send them through in the feed. We can see you on the feed this morning. So send your questions through and we're happy to answer those. Right, Caroline.
Fantastic.
Let's start.
Okay, thanks, Monique. So first place to really start is really understanding what's going on for you. So I've got some questions here that may sort of prompt you or may resonate with you. Are you currently in a job that you don't enjoy? Or maybe you're scared that the job is going to disappear? Are you unsure about where you're heading? Do you know what you have to offer? Or do you want to find something exciting but don't know where to begin? Now, some of these questions may be right on the target for you. Others of you may have different questions, and please put them on the feed. It'd be fantastic. But if you answered yes to any of the above, this next hour, I'm hoping, I'm going to stand behind it. It's going to change your life.
I totally agree, Caroline. I'm really excited about the show today.
Thank you. So, just a little bit about me. So I think it's, who's here? What do I know? So I am a career specialist. I've worked in the career industry for 18 years.
Wow.
So I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of different people from all walks of life, really helping them in their career journey. And I have a Masters in Industrial Psychology.
Wow.
Graduate Certificate in Career Development, and I'm a certified career and life coach. So, I have done a lot of study and also worked with a lot of people to get to where I am. And so I bring all that with me to today, but also with every client that I work with. The slide that's coming up next will show you that I have contributed to the Herald in quite a few ways. I have worked with big organisations, Ministry of Education, Registered Architects Board, Massey University. I've also been interviewed about hot job search by Chinese TV. So, it's quite an interesting mix.
So you really are the career guru. You are to me, Caroline.
Yeah.
Now, today's show, you have the opportunity to pick Caroline's brains. If you are really struggling with your career, or perhaps you want to look at a few different options, or you may have maybe an adult child at home, or a graduate, or somebody who is about to graduate in your life, this is your chance to ask those questions. And obviously, if people love what they see today, they can either subscribe to the rest of your shows,
yes,
or they can book a time to see you
absolutely,
as well.
one-on-one, so I can really work with the issues that you are going through. Yeah.
Excellent. Right, what have we got coming up next?
Okay, so I think it's really important before we talk about, your future, is to actually understand what's actually happening in the future of work. So I want to share some facts with you. 2 out of 3 children starting primary school will be working in jobs that don't even exist.
That is mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing. So, you're sort of going along to school thinking I might want to be this and this and that, but actually you're going to be ending up doing something quite different that we don't even know about. People who are going to be having jobs are going to have an average of a job for 3 years over their lifetime. 17 job changes over 5 significant different careers. So that means, in my day, it used to be you might have 1, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. 17 job changes is massive.
That is huge.
And over 5 significant career changes. So that whole idea of trying to get that one decision, like I'm going to make a decision with my career, I'm going to, just try and get it right, well, there's going to be 5 different significant career changes. So
I agree. I've had that myself over the years. I've been a PA, I've worked in a bank, I have been a children's educator and entertainer, and now I make TV for the internet. So I totally agree.
Yeah, and that's going to be the norm. So I think it's really important. 45% of activities that people get paid for today could be automated. So that means 45% of jobs, of people's jobs, are going to be done by machines. That's massive.
Wow, that's a huge change in the work front. If a huge amount of people are doing jobs that can be automated, that's going to change the whole workplace.
Absolutely, everything's going to look really, really different. And I'm going to talk more about that.
Will people be made redundant, do you think?
Well, there is absolutely going to be redundancy, and there's going to be a possibility of 7.1 million jobs being lost to redundancy.
Wow.
To automation and people sourcing directly. And when I talk about people sourcing directly, it means cutting out that middle layer. So people buy online now as opposed to going to the retail store.
That's true.
And that happens a lot now. We do our own research, and it's like, for example, computers. We can do our own graphic design. All that all these different industries are being affected.
Yes, and of course with retail, for example, some of the biggest retail chains in the world, even I believe Walmart, has had to close branches because more people are buying online because it's so convenient.
Absolutely. So it has huge ramifications. With that though, there's going to be 2.1 million jobs created, but they're going to look really different.
Wow.
And that's what I want to talk a little bit more. So, it's not going to be all doom and gloom or anything. And I hope people don't feel that. But what we've got to do is put our head up and see what's going on.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So just a little bit more about automation. I've got a great slide, and it tells you, the types of areas that might be affected. So with 99% probability, the tasks that have been automated over the next 10 to 20 years, let's have a look at those. Insurance writers, 35% of their tasks are likely to be automated, or most, 99% probability are going to.
Wow.
Data entry clerks, 86% of their tasks automated.
That's mind-blowing.
Photographic and film processors, 97%. Library and public archivists, 59%.
This is just incredible.
Accounting technicians and bookkeepers, huge percentage here,
really,
86%.
86%. So really the employment landscape is changing.
Absolutely.
Significantly.
And as you can see, they're not just based in one type of area. So banking, insurance and financial clerks.
Look at this.
81%. Yep. So these jobs, this aspect of their jobs are going to be automated. Look, when we're saying 99% probability. So in the food industry, so graders and testers, we're going to have 65%.
Wow.
Camera and manufacturing, 100%. So this is really significant. It's not in one area, it's across the board.
That is mind-blowing.
It is, absolutely. So,
wow.
This is called, what we would call this is disruptive innovation.
Wow.
And so I just want to show you a little bit about what's happening in our world. These things, they're out there, but actually they're with us now. And so I really want to us, today to really get an understanding of what's happening. So let's think about this, 3D printers. People like GE, Boeing, Ford, Nike, Hasbro, who makes toys.
Yes.
Jewelers who are now doing custom-made jewellery, Hershey's chocolates,
wow,
are using 3D printers. It's a norm.
Wow.
So they're producing things that are, just being developed through a 3D printer. And what's going to happen, there's going to be the push into our homes. So if you think about, I've lost the remote control, you'd have to go and buy one, which would have been manufactured. It's going to be that you'll just be able to print one out through a 3D printer.
Well, I was just talking to a friend of mine, and she has a 3D printer, and instead of going to, say, the warehouse to buy her child's favourite toy, she designed and printed it for them.
Fantastic.
Which is amazing technology, but how's that going to affect retail and manufacturing?
Absolutely. So, our landscape is changing. Self-checkouts, this is becoming a norm when you go to the supermarket.
Yes.
You go and check out your groceries. So we're taking away that liaison with somebody, a human being. You go to the petrol station, you don't have to talk to somebody. You can pay, the petrol.
Pay at the pump,
that's right. You can check in online for your flights. You can, so this, everywhere. You can go to McDonald's and order without actually talking to somebody. So this is going to happen more and more. There are 200,000 self-checkout machines around the world at the moment.
That is mind-blowing.
And it's only going to increase. So, not only are jobs going to be lost, those types of jobs, but also it's going to change how we connect with people, because that people aspect is changing.
Now, if you have just joined us, I'm here in the studio today with career expert. This is Caroline Sandford from Love Your Career. Now, we are live right now, so if anything's resonating with you today, or if you've got any questions, send those through in the news feed. We can see your questions coming through. Perhaps you're concerned about the industry you might be working in right now and how this disruptive innovation might affect the future of your job security. If that is playing on your mind, this is your chance to actually ask the expert directly. That's what today's show is about.
Absolutely.
Right, what else do we have with disruptive innovation?
Okay, so we are becoming users of Uber. That's becoming a normal part of what people do. We've got 4,000 Uber drivers in New Zealand at the moment.
Wow.
300,000 active users. So that means, the effect that's been on the taxi service has been huge. But you realise that Uber has not invested in any cars. So it's the biggest taxi service around.
That's incredible. And they're fast and efficient. I've used them myself.
Absolutely. They are looking to be driverless by 2030, and it's going to be so inexpensive and that car ownership is going to be obsolete. So that is a prediction, and it's not just a pie in the sky thing. This is going to
change everything, isn't it?
Change everything.
And if you think about it too, it's not just the drivers that are going to change, but right now when you normally ring for a taxi, right? We're going to lose those call centres and the call centre operators, because even with Uber, you're doing everything through an app.
Absolutely, it's going to affect garages. We no longer need parking. We just call for a driverless car. So, this is huge. I'm actually going to, and I've got driverless cars as one of the points on my PowerPoint. I'm putting on a post, an article I'm sharing on my Facebook today, which I really encourage you to read, because it is massive. This is going to be one of the most massive disruptive innovations of our time, I think.
Wow, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah. Drones is another thing that is, in our lives, and, in a really positive way for security and safety. It can go and take out a life buoy or sort of life to someone that's out to sea, or it can go to landscape where people can't get to. But also, it may have a negative thing. I saw in the paper on the weekend, I don't know if anyone else did, that there was an escaped prisoner, and he actually got a drone to drop him some wire cutters so he'd escape.
No, that's incredible.
So with the positive comes the negative, but it's a reality.
Yes, I even know video production companies who still film traditional video content. They are being superseded when it comes to the property market, because people in the property market are using graduates with a drone to film their property videos.
There we go.
And you've got one person doing the filming instead of a crew. So again, that's been, while it's incredible technology and produces a great result, that is changing even videography. Amazing.
It's everything, and I think this is it. Driverless car I've touched on, and people free deliveries, whether it's dropped by drones or by machines that on wheels that don't even need a driver. So, this is our reality. So what does it actually mean for us?
Good point.
Yep. So what it means is, well, first of all, smart technology, automation, robotics and artificial intelligence is here now. And I want to say here now. It's with us. It's not going to be in the future. It's right here. So you will have major changes in occupation. This is guaranteed over your lifetime. Decisions now are not for life. So you don't make one decision and off you go. And
yet that was the way we were taught.
Absolutely.
When we were at college, you go, say, to university and you make that career decision and you stick with that career for the rest of your life. So this is changing that whole career and future planning landscape.
Absolutely. So, we have to be adaptable to what's going on.
Excellent.
So what you train for now may not be there in the future, and you need to continually reassess, cope and adapt to these rapid changes and unpredictability, and you need to keep current. So, I'm going to talk about this a little bit further, but, just because we've trained once doesn't mean that's the end of our training.
True.
Soft skills are and will be in demand.
Wow.
I'll talk more about that too, but it's a really important point. So the technical skills used to be the way, but now it's more soft skills. And career planning, which is what I'm all about, will prepare you the best for the market changes that are coming.
Now, we've just had a comment come in actually from Carla Campbell Riedel, or Reddy, I hope I said that correctly. who is embracing technology and said, exciting toys we need to learn to play with.
Absolutely.
So that's the right attitude to take with the future of employment and careers.
Absolutely. Well done, Carla. And I think it's, we just have to embrace this. And this is, the next thing. Here are my tips. So the first one is we need to embrace it. So embracing change is the number one thing. Now, I know that seems kind of light, of course, but it's one of those things that it's easy to go, it's not happening to me, it's not going to happen to my industry. Well, hello, people, we've just seen, all of these industries across the board are going to be affected. So it's really important to go, okay, this is coming, I know it's going to be here, and I actually need to get ready for it.
Right.
I've got
cute picture. It
is a cute picture,
yeah.
This is a great quote. It's not about human versus technologies. It's not about humans versus robots. It's about how we embrace technology. So it's really, really important that we go, okay, this is here. What can I do to make sure that I'm ready for it, to adapt to it, to be flexible for it?
Look, I totally agree. So my background is film and television. I did my postgrad actually at TVNZ in Wellington. And even for me, the whole face of television and what we're doing now with you guys has completely adapted. And I've had to transition my skills into understanding technology and how to be able to create TV that goes out through the internet as opposed to the traditional TV. And I have to now future-proof my own career and think about what is going to be the future of broadcasting and start making my plans now to be able to do it. But I'm loving technology right now.
Yeah, fantastic. You're embracing it.
Have to.
Choose to. And can I say we all have to?
Yeah.
It's the thing is, this is here. And it's not scary. It seems scary. It's exciting. What we've got to do is see how it can work for us.
So do you think this is why they're really pushing now with the New Zealand school curriculum to add more technology, even from day one of school and even into early childhood education? Is that why they're starting to push technology now?
Absolutely. So it's becoming part of the curriculum, and so it's people are recognising maybe a little bit too late in the piece. I think that should have been done way back here. But that should be a core part of what people learn. And we have people, all our kids are now digital natives. So they know this stuff. The iPad, the phone, everything is very, very normal.
Yes.
It's for us older ones that we've had to learn that, but it doesn't mean we can't. And that's
for me, back in the day, having a calculator was a big deal, and now intermediate and primary school age children have to have a computer. As part. It's one of their tools. It's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Absolutely. So this leads on really well to the next point. It's all about being aware and staying current and relevant. So, as I said before, just because you've trained once doesn't mean that you stop training. You need to be aware about what's going on, what's happening in your industry, what's happening in the market. So read the newspaper and watch the news. If you are a member or, you have an industry and you're not a member of your association, join it, or make sure you go to their events, keep up to date with their developments in the industry. It's really important to have a desire for learning, because we need this. We need to train, and then we need to retrain, and then we need to look up and say, what do I need? How do I stay current? Oh, okay, so I haven't got those skills. How can I get those? Who do I need to talk to? So it is really taking ownership and responsibility for your own learning, and then going, how do I make that happen? Not waiting for it to happen to you, not waiting for someone to pay for your training. So, a really good example of this is, I've worked with quite a few people, hundreds of people actually, who have unfortunately been in transition and lost their job, and that's hugely disruptive time for them.
It's hard for them and their family.
Absolutely, but it can also be one of those moments that can change their lives, because they take opportunities, they look for possibilities that wouldn't have come their way before then. But with that, I've worked with quite a few people who they've been in the job for a long time, and they haven't necessarily need to have computing skills.
Right.
In this day and age, it's quite interesting. But what it means is they haven't got those, and they're now faced with having to go out in the market without those skills.
Right.
Now, so it's really, really important that if you haven't got computing skills, you can go and do free courses. They are available. So all you need to do is Google computer free courses, and you'll be able to find where they are in your area. So please, 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 that is a non-negotiable now. You need to be able to use the computer, and that'll going to make you future ready.
Excellent. I know a lot of mums who kids have gone to school and they've finally got time to do something. A lot of my friends who have had children are now retraining, and computer skills has been the one thing that they've started with. and have gone on to do some really amazing things and start their own businesses.
It just allows you to have your foot in the door without,
agree.
if you don't have that, then you're not.
Now, if you have just joined today's show, welcome to Career TV with career guru Caroline Sandford from Love Your Career. Now, this is an interactive live session. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to send them through. We've got a computer just below us here, and we can actually see who's online, and we can also see your questions coming through. So if anything's resonating with you in today's show, or if you want to pick Caroline's brains while you've got her right here, please send those questions through. We're more than happy to help. So, what's point number 3?
Point number 3 is all about, this is where, I live and breathe, is knowing yourself well. So know who you are and what you have to offer. Now, this is it sounds like a no-brainer, but it's amazing how many people don't know themselves well. They've never ever stopped and thought, who am I? What am I good at? What am I interested in? What do I value? So the things that we may put in this space is things like your drivers. What is motivating you? Why do you turn up? Why do you get out of bed every morning? So thinking about, the things that drive you is hugely important. The next thing would be things like your interests. I work with many people who I'm always surprised, but they may be doing stuff that doesn't interest them, and they come to me because they're unhappy. And it's like, well, let's try and find stuff that interests you, what fascinates you, what engages you, what inspires you. Because if you're interested in something, you're going to put that extra effort, you're going to try hard, you're going to do well because you are motivated to be there.
Right.
When you're not interested in stuff, it's very hard to put 100% in every day.
Do you think that's because, people in my generation, we had that mentality from our parents that, and from our family that, a job is just a means to an end. Do something that pays the bills. You don't have to love it, but so long as it's paying the bills and getting you to where you want to go, then that's okay. So tolerance rather than an interest?
I think some decisions have been made that way, and some decisions are still being made that way, that it's all about the money. Now, for some people, money might be the motivator, and they can do many different things because that's what they're motivated by.
Right.
But if it's not something that it may be nice to have, but it's not a necessary, it's not a non-negotiable, I'll sacrifice everything else for that, then doing something that you don't enjoy is soul-destroying. It saps the life out of you.
Been in that situation myself. I worked in, I worked for a bank. I'm not really a bank kind of gal.
No.
Great people, but it was too much structure for me. I'm a bit more of an elusive butterfly, so I like to fly around. And now that I've found jobs and work that really suits my interests, I cannot begin to tell you how much happier I am as a person and how much more productive I am.
Absolutely.
So that's really what you're meaning as well?
Absolutely. You are your best self when you're in a place that suits you. And that goes on to my next thing, which is actually understanding your values. What's important to you? There's a saying, values are the stars that navigate us through life. So if you are true to your values, you can make really good decisions because you can understand what's really important to you. Do you need to have structure? Obviously not for you, Monique, but do you need to have, be in a team environment, understanding what's important to you and then making sure you get it, you're going to make some good decisions. So that is a really key cruncher of, how to make good decisions about your future.
So why is there not more of values talk, say, in the education system? I mean, that's a big question for you, and you can come back to me about that.
Absolutely. I mean, the values are instilled in us through our upbringing. That's kind of, and we often don't really question them until they're not there. So, when we're unhappy, and when we're sort of in a job that really is just, it
doesn't resonate with us.
It doesn't resonate. I've had people use language like "my soul is dying."
Yes.
I know, which is, and I know, and it's just so doesn't have to be that way. So, I think values are there, but until we actually sort of understand what our values are, we don't actually question it. It's just a given.
Yes.
And I think, going through schooling, every institution has a value system, and that can be part of it as well. But it's not really a question. I think the biggest thing that's not necessarily taught that should be something that we look for when we look at making decisions.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
right.
And personality, that comes also as being a really, really important thing that we need to know. Our personality preferences, we all have a different personality, but we have preferences to be in a certain way. I talked about being in a team. Some people get resourced by being with people. You know, they go slightly crazy if they're with if they're not with people, and other people, it's this draining environment. They need to be by themselves to get resourced. You know, both of them are just as valid as one another.
Right.
But it's really important to understand, you know, what is your personality preference. And lastly, skills, you know, the things that you do well, the things that you can do. Now, what tends to happen is people end up doing things that they do well. So maybe example was at school, you're good at numbers, and therefore, you know, you get pushed into this going to be an accountant or work in finance or something like that. But the reality is you may not like it. So, so just because you're good at it doesn't mean that you like it. And that is kind of where things go a bit awry. So, you know, it's the difference at looking at what are you good at in your skills and what are you really interested in, what do you enjoy doing. Put those two together and you look at what your strength is. That is where we should be operating. So we should be using our strengths, what we're good at, what we enjoy, 70% of the time.
Wow. So when you work with clients, is that sort of the place that you start with when you're doing your one-on-one sessions?
Yeah, so all of these factors, I'll go in depth with people to really figure out, you know, what's motivating them, what interests them, what are their values, what are their personality preferences, and also identifying their strengths. And once we have that, you know, it can be very clear about where to go from here, because you have, you know, the answers of what needs to be there for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if any of that's resonated with you, please do feel free to get in touch with Caroline or send us in your questions or your messages. Now, do stick around, because at the end of this, Caroline actually has a really great template that you can download. She'll give you the details of where you can get that template from. And basically, it gives you a tool that can help you do a stock take of your current career position and maybe give you an idea of how to make some changes.
Absolutely.
I'm not giving away too much.
Well, you know, it's all about putting things into action as opposed to, oh, that was nice to listen to. You know, what can you take away from it? How can you change your life?
Excellent. And if you want to find out more, you can head to her website, loveyourcareer.co.nz. Right, let's take a look at the next slide.
Yeah, so the next thing is all about like skills, and it's really skills is what I touched on before, but I talked about soft skills is going to be so important in our future. 2020 there's a report, Future of Jobs report by the World Economic Forum, so this is international thinking. The things that are going to be needed are things like complex problem solving. So, you know, when we look at these jobs that are going, these are the things that we need to have to be able to use in our future. So being able to solve problems, you know, maybe with automation or putting, you know, things together that we don't quite know. Critical thinking is going to be important. So actually how to analyse things and come up with a solution, or, you know, making a judgment from it. Creativity, the thing that often gets knocked out of us through life,
you
know, is going to be hugely important. And I think this has been recognised, you know, as time's gone on. You know, there's been a lot more space and investment in developing creativity. You know, many of the universities now are putting in those core STEM subjects, you know, the science subjects, the engineering subjects. So they are asking, or it's becoming compulsory to take art subjects.
Wow.
The good old Bachelor of Arts, you know, that used to be dumbed down.
Yes, that's what I did.
Well, hello, this is where all of these skills are developed. And so, you know, it's now been recognised that needs to be developed in the people that, you know, more technical orientated.
Right.
So that is a really positive thing.
I think so too.
Yeah. People management, being able to actually manage people is going to be really, really important, and coordinate with others. So all about, you know, being able to work with people. With that comes emotional intelligence. You know, you might be incredibly good at a particularly technical subject, but if you aren't able to relay that message, it's lost. Right. You know, so you need to be able to understand your emotions and manage your emotions, but also to understand other people's, you know, emotions and how people are. So that is a really key part of going forward.
Right.
Making judgment and decision making, service orientation, so being able to anticipate what people's needs are is going to be hugely important. Negotiation and cognitive flexibility, being able to be flexible, to have a couple of issues going on at the same time and be able to manage those. So these, you know, when I look at this list, there's
sorry.
There are no technical skills here. You know, these are the soft skills. These are the skills that are going to be needed for future proofing.
So I have a question around this, because I know there are some people who are very technically minded who aren't necessarily comfortable being people facing.
Yeah.
How do people, you know, who are strongly introvert, who may not have really developed people skills, how do you think that's going to work for them? Is that where they would seek maybe the support of an expert like yourself to help them through with that?
So you know, you can always learn skills, you know, and it requires recognising that there's a gap there and being able to seek the right advice. It's also if there's it's finding your tribe, finding people around you that can support you. So, okay, I recognise that maybe I have these particular technical skills. First of all, I can learn some skills, but also maybe I need to find people that can actually translate that information for me.
Gotcha.
So what it is just finding the way it works for you. Really, really important.
Excellent, excellent, love it. Thank you for that.
That's okay.
Right.
So let's move on to my fourth tip for the day. It's all about going outside your comfort zone. Like this is what I'm talking about is all about going outside your comfort zone. The thing that happens is when we're in our comfort zone, we get complacent, we get comfortable. But the thing is when we stay in that, it's a very nice place to be, but we don't grow. So we don't grow when we're in our comfort zone, even though, you know, it's nice and cozy. So what I really encourage is that we push ourselves a little bit out of there. We stretch ourselves to learn, you know, the places where things are unknown, that feel uncomfortable, a little bit uncomfortable, where we actually learn new skills. Hugely important to be able to grow you know, for our future. So when I'm not talking about stretching way out there that you get hugely distressed. That's not a positive thing either. Cool, yeah. But just a little bit, so that's really important. So it's looking at things a little bit differently. So, you know, a really good concept that in the careers field is called a portfolio career.
Right, yes.
And that's a little bit what I'm talking about here. It's like, you know, the comfort zone is getting a 9-to-5 permanent job. Now, the reality is, with all I've been talking about, that's going to become less and less normal, less and less available. So we have to think really differently about how we actually approach work. How can we get that, you know, the same amount of money of a full-time job? You know, I think in the creative industry, this is demonstrated really, really well. This is what people know really, really well. So people who are in the creative industry will they have to get income from different sources.
Multiple streams. As a creative, I absolutely agree. The last 20 years of my career, I have had a portfolio, like you say, of different income streams coming in, either as a performing arts teacher, and I balanced that with being a children's entertainer and educator, and then balancing that with being an actor, and then I balanced that with being a voiceover artist, and each of those would bring in a different stream of income.
Absolutely, and it's a wonderful way also when you may do things really well. So, you know, this is not like, say, quitting everything and starting again, but it may not be stuff that you enjoy a lot. But even though we want to move away from that, we can use that to make money, but we can do it part-time. And then we can add, you know, the things that we really want to do and to develop and add that to the mix and use that, you know, as you develop your reputation, become skilled and experienced, and then people get to see you, you can start charging money and drop the stuff that you don't do so well. Yes. But you know, you can do this in lots of different ways.
Yes.
So I've actually, my last blog on my website's all about portfolio career if you want to have a look.
Great.
Yeah, so, and you know, the other ways is thinking things differently is, I know quite a few people who work from home now.
Oh, of course, yes. It's particularly mums who send the kids off to school and they start a business or run a business from their home.
And even people who are traditionally in the corporate world, so they would go to an office, they've got an office job, but now they will do that work at home. Our technology is allowing that. So, you know, there's different ways of looking at it, different ways of really trying to pull all this together. It doesn't have to look like the old model.
Actually, I've got a great example of that today. We've got Jane Wan watching. Hi, Jane, on the YourFixTV page. So she is a mum and she works. I believe she works part-time. Some of her work, I'm assuming today she might be at home, working from home. Jane, let us know. And let us know how you balance your lifestyle being a busy mum of, I believe he's a 6-year-old, and having that other additional income stream coming through, because this really is the way of the future. And
Absolutely.
The growth of mumpreneurs as well.
It's huge.
It's huge. Yeah. It's one of the biggest growth markets
Yeah.
in Korea, I read somewhere.
Yep, it's amazing, isn't it? So, you know, this is exactly what it's like. It's like looking at, you know, what can I do? How can I do it differently? Being creative, you know, we all have creativity. You know, people say they're not creative. Everyone's creative. It's just tapping into that. How can I do this and make it work for me? When you have an understanding of what you want, then you can make it work for you.
Love it.
Yeah.
This is great stuff. Now, if you have just joined us on the stream, this is Career TV with expert and career guru Caroline Sandford from Love Your Career. This is amazing content, Caroline. What else do you see happening in the job market and what we need to embrace? What's another tip?
What's another tip? My next tip is all about networking. Now, I can hear that half my audience is going to go, oh, not networking. But it's all about building relationships. And, you know, that's a real, some people will go, oh, no, it's no problem. I can turn up to a room full of people and go and meet them and exchange business cards and, you know, get them on my LinkedIn profile or whatever. No problem. You know, it's easy for them to have conversations. And for the others of you, it's like, oh no, that's my worst nightmare to do that.
Yes.
You know, so it's finding a way that works best for you. You know, it may be starting with an email, meeting one person, you know, having a quality conversation with them, going to a small event and just having, you know, an objective of I'm going to have a conversation with one person, get their business card, you know, follow up with a coffee meeting, not having to meet lots of different people.
Right.
But what's really important is to do this because, you know, this is what I preach this to my clients. You know, the reality is that in the job market, we only get to see 20% of the active jobs out there advertised.
I did not know that.
It's huge, isn't it? I mean, people go, no.
Wow, 20%.
20%. So 80% of jobs that are actually available are found through our network, through our relationships, through our referrals. So, so that is kind of where we need to tap into. And it's not saying, oh, I need a job, I'm going to go and do this. It's about building relationships now before you need them. It's about having conversations. And it's when I say relationship, it's not about being contrived about it. It's about actually truly wanting to know someone. And you never know, you know, you will help them, they will help you, or they might connect you with someone, you might connect them with somebody.
This is great. So what about the value of a really well-established online network as well? So utilising platforms such as LinkedIn or being part of professional groups on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Would you promote that as well?
Absolutely. I mean, I think LinkedIn, you know, that is a professional network, and any of anyone that's looking and watching this today, please, please, please make sure you get a LinkedIn profile, because you have to just have a presence. And it's all about, you know, connecting with people in different groups. You know, you can share content, you can, you know, share your own ideas. This is a great way of knowing what's going on out there, is becoming connected. But also Facebook, you know, there's lots of different groups as well.
That's right. And even today with the broadcast, you're connecting to a wider audience than you might be able to do, say, in a one-to-one consult.
Absolutely.
So it's about building a network. Actually, Jane Wan has just messaged in and said she is actually working and looking after her son and secretly watching today's show.
Well, so I hope you're enjoying it, Jane.
But that's the power of social broadcasting and networking in this way as well.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes, cognitive flexibility. There we go.
There we go.
Many things at the same time.
She's an adopter of disruptive innovation, which is Facebook is the new TV.
Absolutely. So here we go.
Thanks, Jane.
So I'm just going to move on to my next tip, which is number 6, take and create opportunities that are in line with who you are. So this comes along when you know yourself well, you know, then you can figure out where you best fit, but also don't let anybody tell you to do it differently if it's not right for you. Don't let anybody put you in a box. So if you have always worked in finance and people are saying, oh no, that's where you have to be, or you know, keep doing that, but inside you're saying, hang on, that's not right for me, then, you know, back yourself.
Right.
You know, I really want you to encourage to you know, play big. Don't play smaller than you are. Don't get put in a box. Owe it to yourself to figure out what you want and then make it happen. You know, I know this can be hugely confronting for some people, you know, but it's like taking charge of your own life. Like, you can make it happen. You just need to understand yourself, and then, you know, it's making those connections, understanding where you best fit.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a great chat with Sarah McLeod from Big Mouth Voices. It's a voice agency that I do some work with. And one of the things that really resonated with me in that chat was that she tries to encourage even her clients who are in their own businesses to, yes, they might be selling product or having advertising going out locally, but to think global. Is that something you would embrace around this whole think big kind of idea?
Absolutely. I mean, for some people that may not be a comfortable place to be. You know, it's whether you're going to push yourself outside the comfort zone.
That's true.
But what it is, it's all just making sure it's right for you and making it happen. So, you know, just not getting told by other people, you know, where you should be. It's actually creating your own, you know, journey.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, Abby Leaf has just sent in a message. She said, please, can you put these slides up on your page? I missed a couple of them, so would love to be able to refer back to them.
Absolutely, Abby. We're going to have it on my Facebook, so it'll be accessible to all.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And so, Abby, you'll be able to watch this stream on demand again. And in fact, I believe the slides will be going into a slide share on your website. So you'll be able to find out more information. And also, when you subscribe to Caroline's mailing list, you'll also receive the download that goes with today's show.
Yep.
So head to her website, loveyourcareer.co.nz.
Yes, and we'll give you the detail of that at the end.
Awesome.
So wonderful. Okay, so my 7th tip is all about stepping up and asking for what you want, which goes alongside that last one. I love this quote from Oprah Winfrey: "You get in life what you have the courage to ask for."
Beautiful.
Yeah, so the thing is, no one is a mind reader. So we might want something, we want it with a passion, but unless we, articulate that, unless we maybe ask our manager, oh, I really want to develop these skills, or I really want to get involved in this project that's going on, or actually I've really identified a job over there and I want to build my skills up in that area, unless you actually ask for it, it's not going to happen to you. So,
wow, so this is really interesting. I have worked for so many companies over the years as well, and I've never had the courage to do that. And I know a lot of my friends have been in that same position and have ended up in that routine of Groundhog Day where every day just blends into another and there's no growth and no development. Do you think that's changing in the job market? Are people finding their voice? Or are you trying to encourage them to do so?
I'm encouraging people to do so. I'm encouraging you to do so. So, you need to be clear about what you want. You can't go, oh, I want something different. Unless you have done the work to figure out what that is, it's very hard to ask for what you want because no one can work with that. They're thinking, well, what is it that you're asking for? But, if you understand that and then you identify, okay, I can see, within my workplace, and it doesn't have to be like the good old career ladder has gone when you go up. I like to, in the careers, again, this is another thing that's thinking about rock wall climbing.
Yes.
So, the thing is you might want to go there, but you have to go there, sometimes downwards to get to where you want.
Wow.
And you might end up in a completely different position than when you started, but it might be even better. So
I love
it's
that.
a journey, but what it is also saying, okay, I want to go over there. It's not a promotion, but actually I really love to use those skills. I really want to know that information, or I really want to do that. So how can I do that? I need to talk to my manager about how I can manage that. So it's just asking, having the courage, or maybe you have a connection in your network that they work in an area that you really want to see. So, having the courage to say, could I come along and just maybe job shadow you for half a day to see whether
that's a great idea.
So there's lots of ways to do this, but what I'm really trying to emphasize here is backing yourself and standing up for what you want.
Oh, I love that. Now, that's really resonated with me today. So let me know in the newsfeed, has that kind of connected with you too? Have you been in that position perhaps where you haven't felt that you can stand up and ask for maybe some personal development or some sort of growth in your job role? If so, let us know. Send us a thumbs up or a heart in the newsfeed and let us know, is this really working with you as well? That's a really interesting point. Thanks, Caroline. Yes, lots of hearts coming through. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, so find your voice and speak up. That's what really has jumped out.
Absolutely,
there for me.
absolutely.
Thank you, Caroline.
Okay.
Excellent.
My final tip for this morning is all about, and just because it's last does not mean that it's least, is looking after your health. Now, this is paramount. We are going through huge changes. This disruptive innovation is here with us. To be resilient, we have to look after our health. It's non-negotiable. So, here, eating healthy, drinking lots of water, exercising regularly, reducing stress, and I'm going to add to that, having good sleep. They're probably the 5 things. If you do that, then you are doing the best possible thing for yourself to enable you to be as healthy and, ready in yourself to be as resilient for these changes. So what I'm really encouraging you to do is just kind of look at these things. You are in total control of yourself.
I love it.
You can do something right now about changing something in your life that will help you to develop those skills, or to actually, ensure that you're resilient.
Excellent. So let's summarize those key important points, because they really are quite incredible. And again, if you've got a pen and paper, write these tips down, or you can head to the website, and these slides will be loaded into Caroline's website, loveyourcareer.co.nz, where you can rewatch this show after today.
Absolutely.
As well.
And I really encouraged you to, rewatch this as much as you want, just to, reinforce these messages, because these are the gems to really help you to work towards the future. So first of all, let's go through the summary of what this means for you. Embracing change. It's here. We've just got to take it and run with it. The second one is be aware and stay current and relevant. So just because you have learnt doesn't mean you're going to stop learning. Put your head up, see what's going on, be in touch with the news. Just listen to the radio, look at the newspaper, make sure that you know what's going on and understand that. Knowing who you are and what you have to offer. So really putting the time into figuring out, what makes you tick, what gives you really good information to figure out where to go for the future. Go outside your comfort zone. So pushing yourself out, not to your distress, but that you're growing is really, really important. Developing your network and building relationships. So, putting time into relationship building, having conversations with people, being interested in what other people do, because, you can work together for your, developing your own network there.
Excellent.
Take and create opportunities that align with who you are. That goes on with you know yourself, then you can create opportunities in line with that. So making sure that no one dictates what you're going to do. This is up to you. Stepping up and asking for what you need, so not leaving it for people to try and figure it out on their own. And lastly, looking after your health.
Right.
Really, really important.
Awesome summary of points there, Caroline.
Thank you.
Excellent. I'm loving it. So what have you got for us next?
Okay, so this is all about just stopping, and we've gone through these, and really what I want you to do is starting to think about where you currently are. So for those who have registered, I have sent a template to them already, and if you want this template, I'll just show you on camera when I get it here what it looks like. There we go.
Is it kind of like a career health check?
Absolutely. So it gives you the opportunity of going through all of the points that we've talked to today, assessing where you are on a scale from 1 to 5, and then really reflecting on what you're going to do about it to be as prepared as you can for the future, and also what resources you need to do. So, these are the things I'm thinking about what you're currently doing. What are the things that you're going to do straight away to start to move away from where you are towards what you want? And I'm going to underline you want.
Yeah.
And what resources do you need to make this happen? So so please, if you sign up for my newsletter, I think that's the best way to do it. At the bottom of my homepage on loveyourcareer.co.nz, and with that, and I will send you that template. So to really pull this together.
Excellent.
What to do next? So
a great question.
Yeah.
So you've given us all of this information about the fact that careers are going to change. We've got disruptive innovation, and that we need to adopt innovation to keep current, to keep relevant, that we need to look after our health, that we need to speak up. There's so many valid points. However, what do we do, Caroline?
Absolutely.
A great question.
Yeah. So really, and it's the thing, like if you would like to, and I'm just going to I've got a list of things here. Become clear about what you want and what you have to offer, to understand how to identify a range of options that inspire you, become aware and prepared for possible market changes, learn positive and targeted strategies to achieve your goal, and gain confidence in your decision making, all the things that I would want for you, and ultimately create the life that you want and love your career. Here are some things that I can help you with. So first of all, we can, as I said, I am running 3 sessions that are going to be online to help you with an in-depth understanding of what you have to offer, your values, your skills, your interests to find the career you love, how to find the opportunities in line with who you are, and how to put the plan into action. So they are coming up. You can book on my website in one fortnight away, fortnight. This is going to be the first session.
That's right.
Yes.
So when you book to be part of those next 3 online shows, that will be delivered via a private Facebook group, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So you do have a little bit of privacy. So if you haven't felt comfortable, in case your employer is watching as well, if you haven't felt comfortable asking questions today, that group has security in there. So you will only gain access if you are subscribed to that show. Now, what else will they get if they are joining you in those sessions?
Absolutely. So, sort of really intensive, time to I'm going to give worksheets on identifying your values, on the skills and interests, and work through those with you, because they are the keys, 3 of the keys of actually finding the career you want. So
Great.
Getting a really clear understanding. So they're takeaways that you can take.
Excellent.
So, I'm going to give you tips and hints about the opportunities. I'm going to give you information on how you can actually do that. And then I'm going to teach you how to actually put your plan into action. So,
Wow.
the one thing is, you can learn all these things about yourself, you can figure out where you want to be, but actually putting it into action is huge.
So is this similar to what somebody would experience if they were doing a one-on-one with you?
Yeah, so for a one-on-one, similar sort of process, but depending on their needs. So I'm working with that person and what's going on for them at that moment, but it's also tailor-made to them. So that is another option. So going to the options, we have further things as you can book a one-on-one session to me, and I'll be working with you individually about what is going on for you in your life and how we can actually work together, how I can support you. Of course, I think we've mentioned you sign up for a free newsletter. That's on my homepage on www.lovecareer.co.nz.
Great.
Follow me on Facebook. I put on lots of different things on my Facebook, up-to-date articles, as I said.
New blog every week.
Yeah, new
That's
blog
amazing.
every week. And I'm also this afternoon putting on something on driverless cars, because I think that everyone should know about this, because it's going to impact you hugely. And also I put inspirational quotes on my Instagram, which are, so come and join me. So this is the stuff to actually keep you motivated, to keep you focused on what you want to do.
Excellent. So today's show, following on from today's show, you can re-watch this show at your leisure. It's available on demand after we finish the broadcast. So if something has resonated with you, come back and watch it over and over again and take the messages and the learning from it and see what changes you need to make. And if this has really ruffled your feathers a bit and stirred you up, I highly recommend that you join us for the next 3 sessions. It will be broadcast live every fortnight for the next 3 fortnights at 11 a.m. And I recommend you join us for the live. Why? This is where you get the best value, because you can actually message in and ask Caroline in real time. So it's a bit more challenging when you're watching this on demand. Yes, you can still send in questions, but if something's happening for you, some profound shift or some change in your mindset is happening for you during the broadcast, now's the time to ask the questions, and that's why live is so valuable for what we're doing here. Excellent.
But also, for some people that timing might not work. So as long as you sign up, and that will be available for you at another time, those actual sessions.
Excellent.
So there's an opportunity there if that time is not right. But hope you can join us.
Yes, excellent.
And I was just going to say, the reason that we are having them in fortnightly is to give you the opportunity to be able to do some work on it. So really important for having that time. So you go away, you do stuff, you might have some questions, and then we can come back and discuss it as a group.
I love it. Now, just before we go off air, if you've got any questions right now, send them through into the newsfeed. I can see there's been a bunch of people watching over on the Love Your Career page, and I can see there's still 8 of you watching right now, including our lovely friend Yem Braid. Hi Yem,
Hi, Yem.
Lovely to see you on this stream today. I believe Ramina Masedra Lily has been watching as well. Abby or Jane, if you have any questions at all, send them through. Now's your opportunity to ask. Perhaps you might be in a job that is one of those jobs that just pays the bills. So, for some people, particularly mums, going back to work and they're just doing something and it's sucking the dear life out of them. What would be your best advice? Mums return to work because the kids are going back to school. Is it okay to just take a job just to pay the bills?
Everyone has lots of different things going on in their lives and lots of different demands, and it's really important to make sure, first of all, can I just say balance is going to be hugely important.
Balance, yes.
Absolutely, because there are a lot of pressures. And so can I say, everyone has an individual story. So it's important to understand what that person's needs are. So, if money is really important, then, there are going to be certain, realities that the person's, but it's so important to get something that they enjoy. Because the one thing you don't want to do is, you spent if there's a full-time job or a part-time job, you know, all of your energy at work, hating it, and come home, you're not going to be in the best space. So, you know, it's really important to get something you do enjoy doing.
Excellent, excellent. And so that comes back to a slide you had earlier in today's show, which was about the drivers. So it's really understanding your drivers and why you are going back into employment. Is that really one of the key important things people need to consider?
Absolutely. And understanding what that looks like. So sometimes, you know, it's the creative, like I have to get this job and everything, but maybe it's thinking, okay, maybe I can earn money in different ways as well.
Great.
So maybe I can get a part-time job in what I used to do, and maybe I can earn money, you know, start up something. You're talking about the mumpreneurs, you know.
Mumpreneurs,
You know, there are a lot of people that earn money from home in different ways. So it's looking at things differently is really, really important.
Gotcha. I know from my arena, you know, being in the creative sector has always been incredibly challenging because people love to watch TV or they love to listen to great music, but people don't necessarily or haven't necessarily wanted to pay for it. However, for me in my work, I have had different income streams because I've been working for myself for 20 years. And I've had to balance doing work which I'm less excited about with the stuff that really fuels me. And I think that's managed to get my sanity, keep my sanity in place.
It's a mix, so things you can earn money with, but also the stuff you love to do, you know, so that you can actually balance that out is hugely important.
Excellent. So on that front, if somebody is doing a job that they really hate, is having something which is, say, a hobby, is that going to help them bring the balance?
Yeah, and so, you know, it's thinking about where do you lose yourself? You know, so many people in their lives have hobbies that they just love and they never think, oh, I'm going to earn money, but maybe can earn money in a different way. Like some people are scared if I do it for money, I'm going to lose my enjoyment. And, you know, that's a consideration sometimes, but also there's a different way of earning money, you know, of looking at it. Maybe it's writing a blog about it. Or getting sponsorship, or maybe it's I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, there's so many things. So maybe it's building websites on particular topics, or you know, there's lots of different things you can do. That doesn't necessarily mean, but it's with the subject that you love.
Gotcha. So I know there's a lot of ladies I follow, including a lovely lady I was chatting to yesterday called Kat Tetzlaff, and she has a website, a blog called Bad Mum Cooking, and she's actually hilariously funny, and it's talking about being a busy mum and trying to balance being a worker and the fact that she can't have the energy to cook for the kids as well. So advice on how to keep your sanity with that, but that has been a great balance for her while she's doing other work. So really being able to find a passion somewhere in the mix is important.
Absolutely, and technology is at our doorstep here, you know, like at our fingertips. We can use it for that. So, you know, it's accessing and learning and you know, how you can actually use your talents in a way that, first of all, using your technology, but also can make money.
Excellent. Well, it is time for us to go. I just really want to thank you all for joining us for Career TV here with a career expert and guru. Honestly, amazing. Caroline Sandford from Love Your Career. We've loved you being with us. Thank you for sending in your messages. Now, if you are watching this on demand after today's broadcast, do still send in your questions because we will receive alerts, and Caroline is happy to message you back if you have any questions about anything you've seen in today's show. Caroline, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and coming into the studio. And I hope all of you decide to sign up for the next 3 sessions of Caroline's transformational program that is laid out ahead of us in the next few weeks. Caroline, thank you so much.
Thank you, and thanks for being here this morning.
Excellent. We will see you next time. Do keep up to date by throwing a like on Caroline's Facebook page there, Love Your Career NZ, I believe it is. And also find her on Instagram. And for more information about the upcoming sessions, head to loveyourcareer.co.nz. Ka kite anō, I'm Monique Bradley for YourFixTV. See you next time.
See you. Bye.